Hi, I'm Matt, and this is Procrastination Garage. Good morning, Bear. How you doing, kitty cat? How's my boy? What a sweetie, huh? So anyway, it's Sunday morning around 9:30 a.m. And yesterday in the mail, I got the new battery for the KLR 650 and also the parts to do the compression check on it, I think. We'll see. So let's jump into that. All right, that looked like a fine replacement. Let's get it installed. Apparently this is smarter than I am. All right, I'm an idiot. It goes like that. Piece of cake. All right, let's check voltage on it. Yikes, only 12.1. We need to get the thing on the charger. All right, the new battery's on the charger. That kind of puts a crimp in my style for this morning because I really don't want to turn this thing over until I have a nice full battery, and we're a ways away from that. Hopefully later today it'll be charged up. These chargers don't charge very quickly, so I'm not sure how long it'll take. You know, this is more of a maintainer charger than it is a regular charger. But since I've already got the lead for it connected, I just soon charge it this way. So let's go find something else to do. You're still here? Hey, do me a favor. Hit the like button and the subscribe button. And tell all your friends. I wanted to give you guys a garden update. As you can see, it's kind of a disaster area. Pumpkins grew pretty good. Cherry tomatoes grew pretty good. Strawberries are growing great, but I didn't get many strawberries. And then I had a couple of pea plants and a green bean. They did nothing, or it might have been vice versa. Anyway, let's get this area all cleaned up because fall is here and it's time to clean up this mess. Less than 2 hours of work, that's what we ended up with. So the pumpkins I've pulled out completely. Over there, that was where there were 2 peas and 1 bean, and you can see there's still one little pea plant still trying to grow there. I think that was the pea, and there was nothing else. Everything else is dead. And I still got tomatoes growing. They're kind of come out of their cages. I picked a bunch of them today. There were a bunch of ones that had fallen off and were rotting just because they weren't being taken care of. And then I saw absolutely no strawberries in here whatsoever. So I had some strawberries early in the season and then nothing the rest of the season. There's my pumpkin harvest right there. Well, there were 2 more, but I gave those to my daughter already. So there's that. And then these are the ones that didn't ripen. Now I looked on the internet, it says if you put them in direct sunlight that they're supposed to ripen. So I'll try that. Some of these were buried in the shadows. And there's Bear checking out my tomato harvest. That's what I've got. I bought 3 plants and I probably paid about $5 a piece for them. So does that look like $15 worth of tomatoes to you? No, probably not. And how many did I eat throughout the season? Probably not as many that are in this container right here. So the bottom line is I suck as a gardener because, procrastination. It's a good thing I don't have to survive off this stuff. But I suppose if you had to survive off of it, you'd be a little more detail-oriented and do a better job of keeping track of it. So we'll try again next year. It's now Sunday evening, so it's been several hours, and as you can see that the battery is all charged up. So let's see what the voltage is now. 13.1 something. All right, that's perfect. All right, next step, let's pull the spark plug back out, see if we can thread that compression checker down in there and see if we can make that work. Well, all right, that's interesting. Now, what I read online said that compression was only supposed to be around 60 because it has an automatic compression release that is supposed to be disabled and it will interfere. So I don't know what that means. Maybe the compression release isn't working. Maybe somebody's disabled it before we got here. Or who knows. But 150, I like that number. So let's go ahead and put the tank back on it and put some gas in it, put the seat on, and take it for a ride. Last thing we need to do, put some gas in it. So what's the verdict? I don't know. It's running better. It still is breaking up a little bit at the higher RPMs, but it is revving freer than it has been. And I don't know, it pulls strong. I mean, it runs good overall. I think what we're going to do is we're going to finish putting it back together, put side covers on it. Probably skip the skid plate and the little chain guard down there for now. And I do need to get a current registration sticker on it, although I'm pretty sure it is registered. I think the sticker's in the back there. And then we're going to put the thing on the road a little bit, take it for a couple rides. Then maybe we'll pull it apart and check the plug on it again. But anyway, we're calling it a runner at the moment. So let's get it back together. All right, both side panels are on. So what are we missing? We're missing this little fairing up here, and then the one on the other side isn't screwed back. I'll go ahead and put that screw in there, just make sure it doesn't get blown in the wind. And we still need a sprocket guard and a skid plate. And let's not forget to put more gas in it before we go anywhere. And the registration, got the new sticker on there. She is ready to ride. I mean, for a test ride. It's Monday morning around 9:30 a.m. and we're done working on the KLR for a little bit, and instead we are headed to the cabin for a couple days. Mainly just doing a cabin check, not planning on doing any work. It's hard to bring a lot of stuff because we're in the Copper Toad. Might trim a few branches. I was kind of thinking about doing that. Mainly just winterize the place and relax, and then we'll come home on Wednesday. I had hoped we'd be making this trip in the Tobies, the white F350, but it's still at the Ford dealer. Last time I took it back, I kind of had a run-in with them. Those guys, the guys doing the test drives are a bunch of incompetents. Not so much the guys doing the work on it, but the guys that were trying to find the smell that I kept reporting, and they're like, oh, there's no smell. Well, got the tech that replaced the turbo out there doing some diagnosis, and what he discovered is that the turbo is a two-piece assembly, and it's factory sealed, and it's leaking right in the center. There's a clamp there, and from their perspective it's non-serviceable, so they have another turbo on order and they're going to replace the one they just put in there. Apparently they've been having troubles with turbos, and in fact they replaced one a while back and they said they didn't even get a block down the street before the new one failed. So that's not good to know. The positive side, the turbos have a 2-year bumper-to-bumper warranty, so I guess that says something if it does fail. Made it to Oregon, climbing up into the mountains. It'll be about 20 minutes till we get to the cabin. It's now Tuesday morning. I didn't do any video when I got here yesterday. We did make it to the cabin. Yep, see, there's the cabin. We, dog and I. So we've got the generator going right now. The Jackery is plugged into it, recharging. It seems to be charging at about 750 watts. Thereabouts. Let's check it. A little over 700 watts. That's good. Last time we were up here, it was trying to charge at 1500 watts. And see, right now I have the cabin plugged into the Jackery and the Jackery plugged in the generator. And Jackery says that's okay, but depending upon what the amp draw is, it depends how well it works. So it is working good. This is the second time I've charged the Jackery since I've been here. I came at 100% yesterday. I went out last night around 5 o'clock, ran it for the generator for an hour, brought it back up to 100%, ran it the rest of the night, watched TV until a little after 10, then went to bed. So I got up this morning. All is fine and dandy. We'll run it up to 100%. We'll let it run hopefully till around 5 o'clock again today, and then we'll fire up the generator, charge it back up to 100%, and run it overnight again tonight. So today's just mainly going to be a day of hanging around in the cabin. I've got some work to do on my computer, so that's going to be the focus, and that's about it. Oh, the next video clip, when we first came out this morning, it's like 8:30. There was a whole bunch of deer that we scared. They were standing right here in the yard. So by the time I went back and got my camera, I only got a couple of them on video and they were at a distance, but I figured I'd share it with you anyway. Oh, their little baby. It's about 1:30 in the afternoon. I've been working on the computer all morning and time to take a break. And so by break, I mean go out and do some work. So we own about 7 acres of property here, and we utilize very little of it, probably about an acre. The rest is just dense woods. So my long-term goal is to open all this up, because most of our property runs this direction. Open it up so there's a little bit more of a view down through the trees. So what I'm going to work on today, I'm going to cut branches on bigger trees. I'm going to cut the branches up to about 8 feet up off the ground so you can see underneath them. And then some of the smaller stuff I'm going to cut down. I didn't bring a chainsaw. I think my goal probably is anything less than at least 6 inches in diameter and maybe 8 to 10 inches in diameter eventually will be cut out. But for now, we're going to have to work on smaller stuff because all I've got is a hand saw and my 18-volt reciprocating saw. So I'm going to go out and do some work, and when I'm done, I'll show you again. And honestly, I'm not sure it's really going to show any different on the camera, but hopefully I'll feel better about it. So we'll just have to wait and see. It's about 9:30 on Wednesday morning, and it's time to get packed out. Here's an after shot of the work I did yesterday. Can you tell? Well, you can tell I've got stuff on the burn pile. And if you look down in there, you'll see the job's only half done, because even though I cut stuff out of the trees, I ended up cutting up to 10 to 12 feet, but it's all laying down on the ground. I didn't want to start a fire yesterday. There's no reason to try and move it all. Plus, some of that down there would be nicer to have a trailer to move it. So we'll work on that next trip. Next trip, when we come up here, first thing we'll do is start a fire if it hasn't snowed. And then I'll just start dragging stuff up. So anyway, it looks better. It opens it up. There's quite a few trees I'm going to cut out. Anyway, next step, if you look at my railing here, it is completely empty. I had it full of squirrel food here. I put that out when I got here on Monday. So let me restock it before we close up. Okay, stocked up with squirrel food. So funny thing is, I didn't see any squirrels out here at all. I know I have squirrels, but I didn't see any. What I did see was one industrious blue jay and then a chipmunk or two. The cabin is mostly closed up on the inside. Now for the fun part, or not so fun part. First, the icky job. Got to dump the porta potty. It gets dumped in the outhouse hole. Alrighty, that was dumped in that. And lucky you didn't have to watch, you didn't have to do it, and you don't have to smell it. I leave a bunch of partially filled water jugs, about half full, up here in the cabin, just in case I make a trip where I don't bring any water. This way I've got a little bit of water on hand. So these 4 here are already filled. I'm going to fill these 2, and that one there is filled. I'm going to fill this one and this one here before we shut the water system completely down. I've got 8 jugs filled out here. These will be set down in the sink once I put some antifreeze down the drain for the P-trap. And then I've got one out here. We call this toilet flush water here. And again, I keep this in the sink. If these things spring a leak in the wintertime, hopefully it'll be contained in the sink. It may go down in the P-trap and freeze and break it, but it hasn't happened yet. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to turn the water on here and let it run until the pump kicks on. And when the pump kicks on, then we will shut the pump off. And what that means is that my storage tanks up there, my little pressure tanks, that way we'll get as much water out of them as we can. All right, there, we shut it off, so that's good. I have 2 7-gallon water jugs here. These are my fresh water supply. There's 2 dip tubes, one tucked into each one, and I will pull those dip tubes out, and then we'll start the process of draining the system. Water tanks removed. All my faucets are open. That's the kitchen and the bathroom. And I've got, these are my 2 drain valves here. One's hot water, one's cold water. And I'll just open those up. And it is a gravity feed system as far as everything comes downhill to this point. So this will drain the lines leading to the kitchen, to the bathroom, everything. So in theory, once that finishes draining, which it's pretty much done now, all the water is out of the system. So now what we're going to do is we're going to send some antifreeze just up through the hot line so we can put it through the hot water heater here so we don't have any residual water in the hot water heater to freeze up in the wintertime. All right, I think I'm set up. I've got the dip tubes going down into some RV antifreeze. I've got those valves closed. I've got the shower valves closed. The ones in the kitchen are closed, but I've got the hot water valve open here. Cold water is shut off. So when we turn the pump on, in theory, it should bring some water up out of this hot water. And it should be water with, should be antifreeze is what it should be. So we'll watch and see. All right, seems we're not getting water. Why wasn't I getting water? Because I said I had all the valves closed and this one open. I lied, I didn't have that one open. All right, so we've got antifreeze coming through the hot line. So that means it went through the hot water heater. So now we basically do the same thing we did before. We just drain the system. The final thing is dumping this much RV antifreeze down the sink drains. I forgot to mention there was one more thing with the hot water heater. Up in here, 2 batteries, D-size batteries. I pull those out for the winter. Those batteries fire the igniter. The way this hot water system works, it's on demand. So you turn the water on, and as pressure goes through it, the pressure senses that it needs to turn on the igniter, which then turns on the burner, which then heats the water. So as long as your hot water is running, then you've got hot water coming out the faucet. The one caveat is this system needs enough water pressure to do that, and so only if you turn the faucet on full. If you had more pressure, that wouldn't be an issue, but because I've got low pressure here, hot water on full gives me hot water on low gives me cold water. The cabin's all locked up and winterized. Time to head home. So there you can see down where I did the work. You can see all the brush down on the ground. Yeah, that's the next project. All right, time to load up the Jackery and hit the road. It's down to 15%. I'd say it's a good time to shut her down. Thanks for hanging around till the end. That's going to wrap up this episode of Procrastination Garage. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. So what did we accomplish this week? I don't know, maybe nothing. The KLR, well, it is running. It's not running right still. But hey, it's been fun working on it. And we made a trip to the cabin. Got just a little bit of work done up there. And actually, I got a lot of computer work done up there. Remember, the number one goal of Procrastination Garage is to keep me motivated, to keep me down in the shop working on projects, out in the yard, up at the cabin, up in the mountains playing, whatever, just so I'm not sitting around wasting my time watching YouTube and TikTok videos. Not that you guys are wasting your time watching this, don't get me wrong, but you know what I mean. Anyway, down in the comments, please tell me about the projects you're working on, or better yet, the ones that you're procrastinating about. And I hope you'll come back next week. And remember, this is Procrastination Garage, and my name is Matt.